Good afternoon. I hope everyone's well today. Thank you for watching. First things first, housekeeping. Reform UK had a couple of victories this week in by-elections for local councils. We've got a new Reform councillor down in Kings Lynn for Austin Moor and Reform UK, so well done. 49% of the vote, just look at that. That's a thumping majority. Well done, Austin. I'm sure you'll do great things for Reform and your constituents, so well done, mate. And then we look at another one. We've got Ann Davis in Tendring, which I believe is down south as well. Another decent result there, 57% of the vote. Yeah, well done. But the most significant result I wanted to talk about a little bit is the one up in Scotland. 26% of the vote for Reform UK for the by-election for Holyrood. They came in third place behind the SNP and Labour. Well done. Well done to Ross Lammy. Even though you didn't win, you're a winner in our hearts, and you are probably going to get a seat in the Holyrood elections next year, so well done, mate. The reason why I bring up Scotland is because this no mark, this failed, useless politician, Hapless Humza Yusuf, has been making a prat of himself, and I want to discuss it. Yeah, so he's got a history of making a prat of himself, but I want to talk about what he said about the exile of Zia Yusuf from Reform UK. Side note, he has surrendered his shares apparently today as well, so he's completely out of Reform UK. He put out this tweet, alright. Zia should be an example and act as a lesson to every person of colour. Even if you donate hundreds of thousands of pounds to them, the hard right will never accept you. Who would have thought Reform would eventually dispense of their brown, son of an immigrant, Muslim party chairman? Alright? So, Humza Yusuf is making the assertion there because the SNP in Scotland think that Reform UK is racist, and they think that anybody who votes for Reform UK is hard right. I would say the burly centrists, to be honest. They are boomer centrists. That's what Reform UK is. Especially for Argentites, there's nothing remotely far right about them. If you want to know about Stoke and Division, just think about Humza and his white speeches, how much he thinks that everybody in Scotland being white is a problem. If you believe the rumours, the reason why Zia Yusuf has left Reform is because he found it problematic. There was a clash between the way that the party needs to go and where he thinks the party should be. And my MP, Sarah Pochin, and her Burka question earlier this week seems to be the straw that broke the camel's back. Now, of course, this is all hearsay, nothing definitive on that point, but it does lend the question, and that's the thought experiment for this video. Is it an issue? Should the burqa be banned in the United Kingdom? Other countries across the continent have done the same thing. Think of Denmark and think of France, for example. There was even a test case, where a Muslim woman took the case to the ECHR. And while the ECHR didn't definitively say that it was against European cohesiveness, they did uphold the nation, France, for banning face coverings and the veil and whatnot. And they've done that because if it's about getting social cohesion in the country, then the ECHR doesn't actually have a problem with it. So Humza, most of the population in the United Kingdom do think that the burqa does harm social cohesion. It is a religious garb, it's religious get-up, and it is from a religion that is not native to Europe or the United Kingdom. So if you are purposely wearing that, you are othering yourself, you are making yourself an outsider, and we could very well end up being an island of strangers. Should temper the expectations of who you think your core base and your audience is, in my opinion. My opinion is, most people in the UK agree that the face coverings and the burqa should be banned. They should be outlawed in the UK. My opinion, they are degrading to women. My opinion, they shouldn't be allowed in public. Do what you want in your own bedroom, do what you want in your own house to a degree. However, don't expect the rest of us to be tolerant of it. That's against what we should be going for, in my opinion. That is against the ideals of the West. What I would say is we need to be careful. We need to be very, very careful of slippery stooges like Zia Yusuf. We need to be very, very careful. Alright? He thinks by playing the racist card, because that's the only card he has to play, he hasn't really got much going in the brain. He's not really that bright. So all he can do is screech racist at the white people and say, you're being mean to me. It's not about that. It really isn't, in my opinion. If you are bringing your own cultural traditions and norms into the broader British society, not only are you damaging social cohesion, you are actually actively against it. You don't want to assimilate, you don't want to integrate. It's about getting rid of the native culture, imposing your ideology and your culture onto the host nation and expecting us to take it lying down. That is against everything I believe. That's everything that the United Kingdom should stand for, in my view. Now, if you think I'm onto something and you think that Humza should just pipe down and think about his own family and his unsavoury in-laws that may or may not be guilty of serious crimes, let me know. If you think Humza's onto something and the burqa shouldn't be banned and think that it doesn't damage social cohesion, you let me know. When I see people in public, if I see people with headphones in, I automatically assume that they don't want to be spoken to. If somebody's got a face mask on, whether that be one of those surgical masks that people thought would protect them a few years ago when we had an outbreak of flu, you let me know. You let me know if I'm making a mountain of a molehill. But as always, I thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a good day.